Welcome to Simplified Reads, your go-to channel for book recommendations that inform, entertain, and sometimes chill you to the bone. Today, we're exploring 10 classic horror novels that still scare, breaking down why they're memorable, what makes them effective, and even what might not work for every reader. If you love horror or want to understand why these stories endure, this video is for you. Starting with Dracula by Bram Stoker. This novel is a cornerstone of Gothic horror. Its atmosphere is unmatched. The dark castles of Transylvania, foggy landscapes, and haunting castles make you feel as if you're part of the story. Count Dracula is a multifaceted villain, charming, manipulative, and utterly terrifying. Stoker's use of letters and diary entries creates suspense, letting fear creep in gradually rather than through immediate shock. The book is brilliant for readers who love slow-building tension and classic vampires, but some may find its epistolary style slow or outdated, as it relies heavily on letters and journal entries rather than action-driven storytelling. Still, the Gothic imagery and psychological tension make it a must-read. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley is another pillar of horror. It's not just about a monster. It's about human ambition, isolation, and moral consequences. Victor Frankenstein's obsession and the tragic existence of his creature provide immense psychological depth. The suspense builds through the creature's actions and Victor's guilt, creating unease that lingers long after the final page. The book's strength lies in its exploration of universal themes: science versus morality, creation, and responsibility. But modern readers may find the language and pacing dense, as Shelley's 19th century prose is rich and formal. The novel's power is in its tragic horror rather than in jump scares. Stephen King's The Shining brings horror into the psychological and supernatural. The isolated Overlook Hotel sets a chilling atmosphere, and the slow transformation of Jack Torrance into a dangerous figure adds psychological depth and tension. King excels at making the reader feel trapped alongside the characters, and his depiction of family dynamics and addiction gives the horror emotional weight. What works best here is the combination of internal and external horror, but some readers may find the sections of introspection slow compared to the high-tension scenes. Yet, the payoff, the terrifying hotel and Jack's unraveling, is unforgettable. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson is a masterclass in subtle terror. The house itself is a living, malevolent presence, crafting an atmosphere that keeps readers uneasy. Jackson's focus on Eleanor's fragile mind adds psychological depth, making the story as much about fear within as fear without. The suspense is slow-burning, with ambiguity that allows the imagination to fill in the horrors. Some readers, however, may find the ambiguity frustrating, as not all supernatural events are explained. Still, this novel's subtlety is exactly why it remains haunting decades later. Psycho by Robert Bloch is an intense psychological thriller. Norman Bates is a chilling villain, whose split personality and hidden darkness create constant suspense. The Bates Motel's ordinary yet ominous atmosphere adds tension, and the novel explores themes of mental illness and duality in humans. Bloch's writing keeps readers on edge, but those expecting a traditional supernatural horror may be disappointed. This is human horror, rooted in psychology rather than the paranormal. Its strength lies in its shocking twists and deep dive into the human mind. Pet Sematary by Stephen King blends supernatural horror with human emotion. Louis Creed's grief drives the story, making the themes of death, loss, and defying nature deeply unsettling. King's atmosphere of the rural cemetery and cursed land amplifies the tension, while his character-driven approach gives psychological depth to the story. What works beautifully is the emotional resonance of the horror. What might not appeal to all is the slow build-up before the full terror emerges. Still, it's one of King's most emotionally impactful novels. In The Exorcist, William Peter Blatty combines supernatural horror with human vulnerability. Regan's possession and Father Kara's internal struggles create high suspense, while the demon is a truly terrifying villain. The juxtaposition of suburban normalcy with otherworldly terror enhances the atmosphere, and themes of faith, morality, and courage run throughout. While it's powerful, some readers may find the religious elements heavy-handed, but for those open to the spiritual dimension of horror, it remains profoundly disturbing. Richard Matheson's Hell House is terrifying because of its claustrophobic atmosphere. The house itself exerts psychological pressure on its occupants, amplifying suspense and fear. Matheson's attention to human weakness and mortality adds psychological depth, while the writing style vividly brings supernatural terror to life. The book's strength is its relentless tension, though some may find the intense focus on the house and its horrors repetitive. Still, it's considered one of the best haunted house novels ever written. I Am Legend by Richard Matheson takes horror into a post-apocalyptic world. Robert Neville's isolation provides psychological depth, and the vampire-like infected humans serve as terrifying villains. The atmosphere is bleak, tense, and immersive, while the novel explores themes of survival, loneliness, and humanity's fragility. Some may find the pacing slower than modern horror, but the book's tension and moral complexity make it a lasting classic. Finally, The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris delivers psychological horror at its finest. Hannibal Lecter is a chillingly intelligent villain, and the cat-and-mouse game with Clarice Starling keeps suspense at a peak. The investigative atmosphere, combined with themes of morality, instinct, and evil, makes the story deeply compelling. Some readers may find the detailed procedural sections slower than the high-tension scenes, but Lecter's character ensures a lasting impact. Each of these novels demonstrates that horror is more than just scares. It's about atmosphere, suspense, psychological complexity, villains that haunt, and themes that resonate across time. Some readers may find aspects like older prose, slower pacing, or ambiguity challenging, but these elements are often what give the stories their timeless power. Thanks for watching Simplified Reads. If you love this deep dive into classic horror novels, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a spine-chilling recommendation. Keep reading, keep exploring, and remember, the best horrors linger long after the book is closed.